Hi there, Lori Starkey here. Hope you're having a fantastic week. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, we have an intro video that you can totally check out here to learn a little bit more about who I am and what I'm up to out here in the middle of the YouTube. Is it the YouTube or YouTube? I don't know. I'm older. I can say the YouTube. Just one of the benefits of getting older, I guess. But I am here to do my week 1 review. I started the keto diet, ketogenic diet, about a week ago and weighed in this last week. So I'm here to give you some updates. At the end, I'll tell you how much weight I've lost and show you some pictures, which you probably have seen. I think the thumbnail has the pictures on them, but super great week. I'm really excited for week 2 starting. I've forgotten how much I love to cook. So these recipes that I'm finding, and I'll be sharing a lot of those with you guys, they are putting me back in the kitchen. I've been doing a lot of baking because we're opening up a bakery. But I haven't done a lot of cooking, and so it's been really a lot of fun to use some of my favorite flavors, aka cream cheese and butter and cheese and bacon and avocados and olives to really kick into gear this keto diet. So I thought I'd start by just showing you a few things I picked up this last week. I have done some hauls that you'll see this stuff in, but I think I want to just show you really quickly some of the fun things I did as kind of a prep for the diet so that it wasn't just jumping off the deep end with nothing in the fridge or the freezer or on my desk to help me track. It's kind of funny, it's like out of sight, out of mind. And so as I've gotten a little bit older, I started putting things like in front of me that I want to see more often or be reminded of. So like the cream cheese is at the front of the fridge, or the olives are at the front of the fridge, or the new vitamins and supplements. I'll be sharing a video actually on that, but the new vitamins and supplements that I'm taking, I have them on the kitchen counter, which is not usually what I would do. I would normally put them in my bedroom or in a cabinet, but I would probably not take them as well. That's typically me, a complete rebel. So let me just show you some of the things that I picked up. It's nothing groundbreaking, to say the least, but they have been super helpful. And then I will kind of go through the week and show you some pictures and some videos and some good stuff to get kicked off on my lifestyle. So the first one I got was, I got this cute little, $2.50 notebook at Walmart. I picked out one that had something that says something inspiring on it. I think it's backwards to you guys, but that may just be me. It says "You Can." And then I've literally just used it to go day by day. First of all, I'm just going to do one page of kind of like notes. See if I can tap that. Yep, I'm going to do some notes. And so that's stuff that I kind of want to mention to you guys. And then after that, I've just been putting down like when I do my weigh-ins and what I eat and any tips and tricks and notes, anything that I thought would be kind of cool to share with you guys. I am doing a blog as well so that I can write out. It's more of a journal than a blog, which I don't know if there's really a difference, but I'm kind of new to all this stuff, so you'll have to bear with me just a little bit. I could write you a novel in 3 days, but I'm confused on what the difference is between a journal and a blog. But I'm doing mine as a journal, so you'll basically get to see every single day what I ate. I don't have a ton of macros on there. I don't have the weights or any of that kind of stuff because right now I'm not being so crazy strenuous on it, on the measurements and the weights and stuff like that, because I'm right at the beginning of my journey. So I thought, instead of just balls to the wall, let me try to slip myself into this by making a few adjustments every week. So this last week I made the adjustment of eating in a ketogenic fashion and adding in exercise. So we started exercising 3 days ago. Probably day 4 of my journey we started exercising. When I say we, my husband, my 14-year-old son, and then my daughter who is 20. She's the middle kiddo. And so she's been joining me on some of these exercise journeys too. Now my husband and I walk all the time anyway, but I've added some cardio, some high intensity cardio with Beachbody. It's about 25 minutes a day. You'll get to see some videos on that. I actually laughed my ass off this week at those videos of me dying on the floor behind me. Guess it's just life. But anyways, I'm doing my journal. Back to the blog. Can you believe I'm going to take you back there? But we're going to put together, I have a social media team because I'm a writer, so I have a large team that works with me in my publishing company. They are going to help me with pictures and Instagram and the blog and putting all kinds of fun stuff together for you guys. But I have been writing my journal daily here so that when I sit down I can very quickly type it up and one of my social media managers can get it up for you guys to see. I have been doing the percentage of fat and carbs and protein that I eat each day, and that's really based on MyFitnessPal. which brings me to lesson number 1. One of the things that I was rebelling against when I started a few days ago was the idea of tracking. I just do not like tracking my food. I think it's because I forget and then I feel bad, and it's just this really vicious cycle. So I wasn't going to track. I was like, I'm not tracking. I'll just eat what I'm supposed to eat and then it'll be fine. But I also have this part of me, because I'm an ex-CPA. My license is frozen because I'm not working in public accounting anymore. I am a fiction writer. So they let me keep my license, but I just kind of have to freeze it because you have a whole lot of classes you got to take to stay a CPA. And I did not want to take classes while I was writing romance stories and fiction stories, and just not a whole lot of fun to stop and take a tax class. So anyways, I froze my CPA, but the numbers girl in me was like, hey, you know, if you aren't measuring it, you can't manage it. That quote's by Peter Drucker, I believe. But if you don't measure it, you can't manage it. So it's like, if I don't put the information of what I'm eating down into some kind of app, or like I said, I have it on paper now too, which I really like. It's hard to stop in 2 weeks from now and go, I haven't lost any weight. And unfortunately, I have no clue why, because I can't remember what I wore yesterday, who I saw, or what I ate, much less what I've put in my mouth the last 2 weeks. So there's really nothing that I can manage or adjust or shift because I didn't track it. So that was one of the biggest lessons. After the first 3 or 4 days, I finally sat down and put together my FitnessPal. I adjusted the macros. I'm on their free plan, super simple to use. It's right on my phone. I eat a lot of the same things, so I can just hit kind of the repeat button on those things. But at the end of each day, it helped me to sit down and say like, hey, what were my macros today? You know, how did I do? Which was super helpful, and it's allowing me to go back and actually see where progress happened and where it didn't happen. And then the second lesson on this same vein actually was that the first day I put my FitnessPal together and started tracking my macros, I tracked them after I ate. So I would eat and then I would put the information in. I would eat, I would put the information in. And at the end of the day, I did one of the blood prick tests. I did the blood prick test and just to see what my ketones were. And I was at 0.5 millimoles. Yeah, I was at 0.5 millimoles, which is like, I'm not even really in ketosis. And I was like, how's that humanly possible? Because I've been eating keto all the way. And I looked at my FitnessPal and realized that, oh, I'm having too many vegetables. And the thing is I like veggies, but I was like trying to shove the veggies in, if you know what I'm saying. Like, I didn't need that many veggies, and I really didn't even want that many veggies. I don't know why I thought I needed to get in more veggies, which is not really ketogenic at all. I mean, it is, you can have some, especially certain ones that really take the amount of carbs they have almost equals the amount of fiber. So you really get a good bang for your buck on things like olives and avocados, which have a ton of fat on them too. But then there's other ones like asparagus that it's like, I feel like I could have eaten a pizza. That's way exaggerated, but eating asparagus, a ton of asparagus, did not benefit me well for my carbs that day. I want to stay under 20 grams of carbs. And I was at like 31 because of, you know, inhaling asparagus like a giraffe. Which I barely even like anyway. I covered it in cheese, and who could tell what was happening at that point? It just tasted like cheese. So anyways, I realized that, hey, it might be a really good idea if you start tracking in my FitnessPal before you eat. So like in the morning, I would literally, the next day, starting like on Thursday or Friday, and I remember I started last Monday, and so I would sit down and I started tracking before I ate, kind of planned out my day. Now if the day changed, which it always does around here, we make plans to break them, is what we say in the Starkey household. But I started tracking enough to go like, hey, you're at your 20 net and this is the day you have ahead of you. So as I adjusted, I did it real time before I put anything in my mouth. And it really made a huge difference. Like within a day, I was at 0.9 millimoles on my blood testing, which is still in light keto. But I think it was super smart. Like I'm glad that I had a low number, even though sometimes you don't want to see those low numbers because it's disappointing. It also is a great measurement. Like if we could just take it to where the numbers don't reflect us or our identity or our failures, but really just data points that we can read and say like, hey, something's not right. Well, the numbers tell a story. I've always said that. I mean, in accounting, we always say that, and the numbers tell a story. And the story that it was telling was you're really low on the level of ketones in your bloodstream, which means you might not really be in ketosis. So what's the deal? I have this little gnat flying around, by the way. There's a little crack in my window, and I just love having this window here. So if you just see me like swatting myself and doing this right here, it's because there's a little gnat running around my head. I know you needed to know that. So anyways, I started tracking ahead of time, and I think that made a huge difference. A few other tips and tricks that I learned this last week, and I hope you don't mind me sharing these. Like when I watch YouTube, when I'm looking for videos like this, that's really what I want to know is, hey, what did you stumble over and break your teeth on? So maybe I can learn a lesson from you and not do the same thing. Or what was funny, or what was delicious, right? We just had Fathead pizza today and it was delicious. So some of the other things from this week, one of the cool things was my middle daughter, like I mentioned, she's 20 and she's going to be doing this journey with me. And she was going to Olive Garden, like of all places to have to go. I don't know if you have an Olive Garden, but it's an Italian chain restaurant. And it's delicious. And the best part about it is their delicious, fluffy, carb-laden breadsticks. So good. And so she was going there and I was thinking like, can you not go anywhere else? And I thought, no, this is the perfect opportunity, because she came into my office. She said, Mom, freaking out. I got to go to dinner with some friends. And they are just dead set on Olive Garden. You have to help me figure out what to do. So we did some research, which is what I would tell you to do, which is what I do. I mean, Google has just changed the world. Just do a couple of searches, find a good site that's reputable. Can I even say that word? Reputable. And look up what to eat on ketosis at a certain restaurant. And we kind of figured out, hey, there's several options, but we landed on chicken Alfredo. But instead of noodles, she was going to use their zoodles. No salad, but maybe a side salad with Caesar dressing, because you have to have the fattier dressings. And then just to watch the rest of her day a little bit. And if she's not hungry, don't eat all the way through it. If she is, eat all the way through it. But just stay away from the bread and, you know, have a tea with a sweetener or a glass of water with some lime or something. Well, the cool thing was, is after we talked through it for 15 minutes, I mean, because it was important to her to stay on her keto plan, she gets there and she texts me in the middle of it. This kid's my rowdy kid, by the way. She should be a rock and roll star. She has more tattoos than I have skin, and she's super awesome. You'll see her a lot, hopefully, on this channel. I think I'll be able to get her to come out of her shell just a little bit. But she texts me with all these pictures, and she's like, Mom, because we're in the middle of COVID, she's like, they have such a limited menu, they don't have their zoodles. So she shows me a picture of her plate. This kid out ordered just the chicken you would have on your Alfredo with a little bit of Alfredo sauce on it and a side of broccoli. I was super proud of her. Like, it's just taking the time to think through what you can and what you can't have on your diet or eating plan. I'll get used to saying that. I've been dieting for so long that, gosh, it's been 30 years or something. But on this new lifestyle, it's like you have to know what you can and can't have and what you do and you don't like. And then after a while, it just becomes second nature. Like the next time she goes to Olive Garden, she'll order exactly what she just ordered, or she'll research it and try something new. So one of the big points and lessons I learned and I reminded her of wasn't just know what you can and can't have, but also when you go to a restaurant, like talk to your waiter, right? They're not an AI robot. You can say to them, I'm on a low carb diet. I can't have carbohydrates and sugars. What would you suggest? So let's say that you get in a hurry and your friend changes the restaurant at the last minute. You talk to your waiter. Like when you go in there, have a conversation, grab Google then and see what you can find. But I would definitely, the waiter's going to know the menu. And if they don't, they're going to go talk to the cook for you, or they're going to get the manager over there. And it's like, some people just don't want to be a pain in the ass, but you've chosen to spend your money there. So I think it's very appropriate for you to ask questions and get exactly what you need. And if someone treats you like crap or makes you feel stupid for doing it, guess what? That place doesn't get your money anymore. Like, customers vote with their wallets. You're the customer. I'm the customer. If I go in there and you treat me well and you help me, I'm coming back. But if you don't, like, sayonara, bitches. Like, there's plenty of places that we can go, right? So something to keep in mind is don't be shy. Like my friend the Gnat, don't be shy. Like, go in there and ask the questions that you need to ask to be able to get exactly what you need to get. The second thing that I got that I'm really excited about is I got a calendar. And I have a huge calendar on my wall. it's not on there right now, but it has all my production schedule on it. So all my writing schedules, all our book releases, and of course I've got in a different color all our birthdays and all of the anniversaries and all my staff, all the information for when they started working for me, so that we can say like, yay, we're so excited, because I love all of them. And I have 6 companies, and so that calendar is packed full. So I got me a new calendar, and it's really simple, and I could have had an issue with the calendar because it only has June through December in it. It's like, I don't know who makes these calendars or decides what months to put, but it was awkward. I went, it was like October of 19 through December of 2020, and my husband was like, well, do you just want to wait till October? I'm like, it is June. I do not want to wait till October to get my a new calendar to start putting information. So I got my calendar. At the top, I put what percentage of protein, fat, and carbs, which are the micronutrients, just not in keto, but just in life, that's the micronutrients. I put what percentages I wanted to stick to, so that each day below I could put what I was actually at from the MyFitnessPal once the day was all said and done, and I could kind of analyze it over, like I said, each week. Stop, take stock, see if I lost weight, see how I'm feeling, see how I'm sleeping, see how all my systems are working, if you catch my drift. And then this calendar would kind of encapsulate all that. Plus I have the exercise that I plan on doing on here listed out. I also have if I fasted or not, and then I wrote down as well for the days that I do poke my finger what my millimoles were for the ketones flowing through my bloodstream. And I don't plan on poking my finger every day, and I'll tell you why. It's because it fluctuates all throughout the day based on if we're just waking up, if we just got done exercising, if I just ate a big meal, whether it had any carbs in it, or if it was just straight up keto deliciousness. It changes all throughout the day. And so I figure I'll check my blood maybe 2 or 3 times a week. Again, kind of just as a measurement, not necessarily as a telltale sign of, you know, my ability to be in ketosis or my ability to stick to this new lifestyle. Did you hear that? I said lifestyle. Oh my God, I'm so proud of me. So anyways, I got this and I'm super excited. It's just used for this. I'm literally it's just used for the keto process that I'm going through. And I just spend a few moments at the end of the night when the kids are in bed and the kitchen is clean and everything is done and all of my to-dos are shut down and my writing is complete. And I just sit down and write down all this stuff and kind of close out my day, which it really feels good. The last thing that I got this week, and I think I showed you all this in a haul, but I got this Contigo water bottle, and it has 32 ounces in it. So I drink 2 of these a day. And then I try to drink electrolytes or a Nat Keto supplement, which I'll talk about in another video. I try to drink some of those for the other ones, but I try to drink 2 of these a day, and I fill it with ice water and I carry it with me wherever I go. And it's fantastic. Everybody knows to stay away from it. The biggest problem I've had in the past with buying water bottles is that everybody uses my water bottles for something. So all my old ones smell either like boy butt or pickle juice or, you know, I don't know, dude. Like, they smell like everything but a water bottle. So I've told my boys, like, leave this one alone. This is mine. But that's been super exciting too. One really cool thing about this last week is that I ate out several times, and I'm going to put my eyes down every once in a while because I do have my journal right in front of me so that I can kind of make sure I touch base on some of these cool things. But I ate out. We ate at a really nice steakhouse several times, actually. We eat out a lot. I would say we eat out, if we're having, what, 3 meals a day times 7, 21. I'm the CPA over here, and I'm like, is it 21? 21 meals a week. I would say we probably used to eat out 8 to 10 of them. Now we eat out more like 3 to 4 of them. Just always on the go. Life's super busy, but I do love to cook, and I am a good cook. I'll toot my own horn on that one. That's my mom's fault for making me cook with her when I was a kiddo. She's an excellent Southern cook. But unfortunately, we used to fry everything. So, including the bread and the vegetables, have no question at all why I'm chunky. Because I love fried bread and vegetables. Anything else we want to fry. Okay, but I did eat out several times this week. We ate at a really nice steakhouse, and I had a steak and I had a Caesar salad. And they wanted to bring me vegetables or potatoes or something to go with my steak. And I just didn't feel it. Like, I wasn't feeling broccoli. I didn't want the extra carbs from the veggies, so that's why I chose a salad. And the funny thing is that some of those bougie steakhouses, they're like, well, it's going to be an upcharge. And it's like, well, fine. And that's another point. Be prepared to spend a little bit more money on yourself. You're really friggin' worth it. And think about all those think about all those Starbucks drinks that you're not having anymore. So you totally can enjoy having your Caesar salad with bacon on it and extra dressing and no croutons, and a really delicious steak that you don't split with your husband. I used to split everything with Jacob. Now the only thing I don't split is a really delicious steak now that we're on keto. I'm on keto. He's not on keto. So we did that. I had a steak and a Caesar salad, bacon on the salad, and no croutons. And then last night we took my middle daughter out. She's going to be coming to work for one of our companies. So kind of as a congratulations, you're done with your old job and now you're working with us. And I had an espresso crusted steak. It was 10 ounces. I only ate about 6 because I just didn't need any more. I got really full. Her and I split a Caesar salad with bacon, extra dressing. And then for our sides, we got cream spinach, which was super gross to me. Fancy restaurant, delicious food. But I don't know, it tasted like I was eating spinach dip. I've never tried it before. And so I felt like, where are my chips? And so, but I had a bite of it, and then they had roasted cauliflower, which I was just careful with. And I did put some of the Caesar dressing on the cauliflower too, which was super delicious. But my go-to is a steak restaurant, and it's steak and definitely a Caesar salad or a really good veggie. So I did that, and then I also went out to Chili's with my husband. I broke a 27-hour fast. I kicked this thing off last Monday with a 27-hour fast just to feel better. I've been feeling like absolute dog balls lately. And so 27-hour fast, and then I broke it with the Chili's, and I got mushroom jack fajitas, but we did beef instead of chicken. And then of course I didn't eat the rice or the tortillas. I just ate the fajita meat, and it's covered in cheddar cheese, sauteed mushrooms, and bacon. It is bomb. As my oldest would say, bomb AF. It is fantastic. And then I also ate at a barbecue joint. I wanted a fatty meat, so I got brisket. And I told them no sauce. I did get some Alabama white sauce, which I think is made with mayonnaise and vinegar. I just had a little bit of it, but it doesn't taste like it has any sugar at all in it. Again, this was before I was doing my tracking. But I did have brisket, shared it with one of my kids because it was a huge plate. And we had a salad, a dinner salad with ranch. I got it with no carrots. I got no croutons. They put bacon and almonds in it, which was delicious. And then one of the tips and tricks I told Allison, you'll get to know Allison, my middle kiddo, this week. She had to go out for Mexican, which is always so hard for me with Mexican because I'm used to eating like 10 chip bowls and just drinking the queso. And so she went out for Mexican this week, and they had a bunch of dips, and she was so proud of herself because she didn't eat any of it, which is great. But there's going to come a day where the dips come a-calling, and you just can't say no when everybody else is enjoying them. So one of the things that I've done in the past, which of course I'll do in the future, I've tried keto several times. I just kind of half-assed it and acted very rebellious, which has been my nature for all of my life. But anyways, I told her, I said, put some pork rinds in your purse and just bring them out and dip those in the cheese and the guacamole. Like, no one's going to say anything to you if you have pork rinds. So I've done that multiple times where we go eat Mexican and the boys are inhaling chips and chip bits are flying. And I have pork rinds and I just dip them in the dip. Is it as good? Probably not, but it works and it is delicious. And I get to eat almost all the dips that we order. So that was one of the big tricks for her too. So some of the new recipes that I got to try this week were, we did keto biscuits and I made keto gravy. It turned out really good. The biscuits weren't exactly the texture that I'm used to, which completely makes sense, right? Being from the South, like, hello, we make biscuits all the time, like in our sleep. And so the texture is a little bit different with almond flour and cheese. But it worked. I had one and then kind of passed it on. I'll have to find a better biscuit recipe. And then the gravy was delicious. It was just super rich, like super, super, super rich. But I made it, I videoed it. I have all of that for you guys to see too. And then I'll show you the links to where I got those recipes from. I tried cheesy asparagus as one of our side dishes. Like I mentioned, I inhaled a ton of asparagus. Not so hard to do when it's covered in cheese and butter and garlic. For Father's Day, I made lasagna zucchini boats. I kind of took a recipe from a keto magazine that I found the other day at the grocery store and made it my own. So I'll share that with you. I have that. Yes, I did video that entire thing for you guys too. And then today we tried fathead pizza, which turned out really, really good. just a tip on making fathead pizza, and I'll mention this again in the video. The first time I made it, which was a couple of weeks ago because I was just trying out new recipes before I started my keto journey, I made it and I used wax paper to do the dough. Well, let me tell you something. Wax paper is completely different than parchment paper. I had no clue. Because I've not been a baker before, I know we're opening a bakery, but I always like to do something in my life that scares the shit out of me. And so not being a baker and opening a bakery is super interesting. I'm more of a cook. But I did not realize there was a difference. So when I was working with the dough originally, and I was using wax paper, it was just ripping the crap out of it, right? Just ripped the front off it, ripped the back off of it, and I ended up with, instead of a cooked pizza dough, I had like this goo, and we had to use forks to, anyways, it was very disturbing. So then my CO, my controller of operations, came down from a publishing company. We just had our staff retreat about a week and a half ago, which was carblicious, by the way. She came down and she does some keto recipes too sometimes. And so she did her fathead pizza and it turned out perfect. And I was watching and she said, "Where's your parchment paper?" And while she was cooking it here at the house. And I said, "Here it is." And she goes, "Lori, wax paper is not parchment paper." And I was like, "Seriously?" And then she made hers and it was perfect. I mean, it had no sticking, no ripping. I was like, holy mess. I totally should have realized that those were two different things. This is like journals and blogs. I guess I need to do a little more research. So anyways, today I made fathead pizza with my daughter and we used parchment paper and it turned out absolutely fantastic. I had 2 slices of that and it was absolutely delicious. So, and stayed within all of my carbs and still have some space for dinner. So super exciting. Lots of great recipes to share with you guys. So the last thing that I wanted to share from my week 1 journey before I close this down and let you get back to your life or let you go to sleep, I always watch these super late at night and then kind of pass out afterwards, is I didn't realize that there were hidden carbohydrates and things that weren't really food. Not that I'm eating plastic and, you know, shoe soles or something, but like my vitamins. I can't stand taking big pills. It's always been a problem with me in my life. I'm okay with little ones, but the big ones, we call them floaty pills around here, floaty pills. And that's when they're made with those capsules that when you put the water in your mouth, the pill floats to the front, you drink the water and the capsule just gets stuck right at the opening of your throat and chokes you half to death. Those are floaty pills. And they're disgusting to me. And so I've always had a really hard time with them, to the point of like, if I have to take 1 or 2, I'll have to like shake my head like a dog going crazy and then just swallow it in one of the mad shakes. Yeah, I know. It's beautiful. I should do it for you sometime just so you can have a good laugh on my behalf. But I, about 3 or 4 months ago, switched over to most of my vitamins are chewies, and they're delicious. So at the end of the night, my husband and I would get a handful of different chewies and we would eat them and then go to bed. Vitamin B12 and several other ones. I'll show them to you guys. I'm going to do a video actually on supplements just to show you the change that I made and how many carbs it saved me. But one of the lessons I learned was there was 8 grams of carbs in my chewies, the handful of them. 8. I get 20 a day and there's freaking 8 in my vitamin chewies at night. So I've decided I'm gonna have to learn how to swallow a pill. Hello, because no one's trying to eat 8 carbs in literally half a nanosecond at night before going to sleep with vitamin B12 chewies. You're welcome. Hey, I really hope you enjoyed the week 1 update. I'm excited about week 2. We have quite a few recipes that we're going to be trying. Allison's going to be in the kitchen with me a little bit more this week. We're doing our Beachbody 100 morning meltdown exercises and dying on the floor next to each other. I won't have the volume on during those, so you don't have to hear us cussing our heads off and making fun of everybody on the video, because that's just super inappropriate and I wouldn't ever do that. We totally do that. But I hope you have a really fantastic week. And like I said, just gear up, stick to what you've said you're going to stick to. The number 1 person in your life has to be you. And I know a lot of times as women, it is not us, but I would say like, hey, hone in and let the number 1 person in your life for this journey be you, and what you say you're going to do, start doing, and make those promises small to yourself, and you'll start to trust yourself again, and you'll start to take active, intentional steps towards getting into the best shape of your life. That's exactly what we're doing. We're just taking it one day at a time, because if I look at it as 70 pounds that I have to lose, or if I look at it as for the rest of my life I need to eat like this to feel good and to be healthy and to continue on a journey that lets me have like maximum potential with my thoughts and my actions and how fast I can go, that's overwhelming. But if I just look at it as today, as this next glass of water, as this next journal entry, as this next video, as my next meal, as my next walk, that's not so bad. So I would just tell you just to keep on after it. I hope that encourages you. Please drop in the comments below and I'll happily encourage you along your journey, as I know you're cheering me along mine too. So make sure if you're interested in continuing to follow this, you just hit the subscribe button below and hit the bell if you want notifications when we upload new videos. We're planning on Mondays for sure, and then possibly Thursdays as well. So we'll kind of get them in a rhythm and get consistent. And then you'll also see the restaurant open, which will be really cool, I think. But we'll get in a rhythm and be consistent, and I'm just super stoked that you're on the journey with me. I appreciate you so much for spending your time, which is the most valuable thing you have to give anyone. I appreciate you spending your time with me. So have a great week and just stay after it. You are 100% worth it.